Okay, let's start our lesson. Inshallah, today we will be covering the very first rule of Tajweed from the lesson of Jism or Shikun. In our previous lessons, we have covered the basic harakas that are Fatha, Dhamma, Kasra, Fathatain, Dhammatain, Kasratain, that are also known as Zabar, Zair, Pesh, and double Zabar, double Zair, and double Pesh. So whenever we talk about the double harakas, they are called as Tanween as well, right? Why do we call them tanween? Because they have an ending with a noon sound that makes them a nasal or some sort of noon sound at the ending. Inshallah, we will be discussing specific rulings related to the tanweens in our coming lessons as well. So let's start the very first rule of Tajweed and a new haraka today. We will be talking about the jism or sukoon. These are the two names used for the same sign. Jism is the one that we say in Hindi or Urdu maybe, and the sukoon is the one that is used in Arabic. Okay, so they both mean the same. They are both used for this haraka. Basically, the haraka that always comes in the Quran that needs to be joined with the next one. Oh, sorry, the previous. Okay. So let's talk about the sukoon haraka. How are we going to read it? Just like the zabar, whenever zabar comes on the letter, it gives a letter a sound. But if the double zabar comes, it gives a letter in an sound, right? The zay gives a letter in e sound, and the double zay gives the letter in in sound, right? So just like that, each and every sign, each and every haraka has a specific sound, right? But when we talk about the sukoon or the jism, it's not going to have any sound. Okay? We don't get any specific sound from the sukoon or the jism haraka. If we have any letters, let's suppose the letter is ba, and ba is having the sukoon, we cannot say the ba itself because this sukoon is not going to give any sound to this letter. Okay? So how are we going to read it? To read the ba, with the sukoon, we always need a letter that is present previously. Okay? A letter before. And the letter that is present before will always have any sign, just like the zabar or the zair maybe. So whenever we have any sign on the previous letter, we join the one that is having a sukoon with the previous one, just like this one. If let's suppose, let me just make it a bit more clear. Okay, so let's suppose it was alif with the zabar, which makes an a sound, right? So to pronounce the letter ba, we have to join this a sound with the ba. It should be ag, like that. What we have done is, we have pronounced the letter ba by joining it with the previous letter, with the haraka of the previous letter. Okay, this is how we read the letter with the haraka of sukoon. I hope it's clear to you guys. Now, just like the sukoon is having the two names, it can be jism, it can be sukoon. In different writing styles, jism is used in different shapes as well. So these are the three most common shapes used in most of the scripts. It can be just like the letter dal, the one that we use most commonly, this one. It can be like an inverted V, and it can also be present in the form of a zero sign or just like a degree sign. If you guys are familiar with the maths geometry, you might know about the degree sign. It's a very smaller zero sign above some of the letters or digits. So it's just like that. Sometimes in the Quran, we spot a zero sign above the letters. Whenever it's there, it means it's a sukoon. It's another shape of sukoon used in the Quran. Most of the times we have this shape and this shape used in the Quran, but the one that is common in Asia, the script of Quran that is common in Asia, is also having this sign. So if you ever see any of these three signs, just understand that it is one of the shapes of the sukoon. And to pronounce that letter, what you have to do is you have to join it with the previous letter. Okay? This was all about the sign or the haraka and how we are going to pronounce it. Let's talk about the rulings in it. But I think we should do the pronunciation first so that we can make the differences. Okay, let's do it. So let's have some examples. Over here, we have so many letters. Every second letter in the word is having a sukoon. So what are we going to do is we are going to join that letter with the previous one. So over here, it is an A sound. Now we have to pronounce the letter ta by joining it with an A. Okay, it should be at. Over here, we have the E sound, and we have to join it with the ta to pronounce the ta. Okay, it should be E with the ta, it. And this is U sound, and we have to join it with the ta, ut. To pronounce all of them, at, it, ut. This is how we pronounce the basic haraka of sukoon or jazm. Okay. Now there is some exception in the pronunciation as well. Sometimes we pronounce it very normally like at, it, ut. But sometimes we make a sound with the more of a bouncy or a jerky sound. We say the letter with the sukoon, not with its normal sounds, but we jerk that letter from the ending, just like it's a hamza with a jim. Instead of saying aj, we say aj. Or instead of saying each, we say ij. We bounce the letter jim from the ending. You might have heard in the pronunciations on in the recitations of good reciters like Shuraim or Sudes, like those. So why do we do it? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I think there was an internet issue. Okay, can you tell me where we were when I left the meeting?
I was here, ma'am.
So let me repeat. I'm saying, can you tell me till where have you guys heard me so that I can start repeating from there? Can you hear me?
Yes, you are and at it or you were
Okay.
saying
Okay.
that.
Okay, let's continue. So yeah, so what I was saying that we have to say it sometimes with the clear sounds, like the simple sounds, and sometimes we have to make it a bit of the jerking or the bouncing sound. So what happens is it's basically the letter qalqala or the sounds with the qalqala sounds. Okay, um, I think let's try to cover the lesson, but if I leave the meeting, it's because my laptop has died, okay? Because I am not having electricity at my place and it's about to die. Let's quickly cover the lesson. So if you hear any sound that is with a jerking sound or a bouncing sound, it is basically called as qalqala in Arabic. Okay, so let's move towards the definition to understand it first. Okay, it says if jism is on one of the letters of qalqala, the sound will bounce, which is called as qalqala. So now we have certain letters. There are 5 letters: qaf, ta, ba, jim, and dal. These 5 letters, if these 5 letters are having the sukoon above them, okay? If there's a sukoon above any of the 5 letters, then we are going to pronounce them with a jerking sound. Okay, so over here, when we were pronouncing, I didn't pronounce the letter ba first. Why? So that it was with the jerking sound. We started with the ta because it was a normal sound. Why? Because ta is not from these letters. Do you remember the letter qaf is the one with the two dots, and the letter ta is a heavier one, not the one that is having two dots. Okay? So qaf, ta, ba, jim, and dal, whenever they are in the Quran in any word, and they are having a sukoon above them, we have to join them with a jerking sound. Okay? So let's pronounce over here. It's a sound with the ba. What we have to do is we have to join the ba with the hamza, and we have to make it bouncing from the ending, like ab, like that. We cannot say it like ab, but we have to make it bouncing, ab, like that. Ib, ub, like that. Okay. This is what is a bouncing sound. This is what is a qalqala sound. Now we have the next letter tha, which is not from these 5 letters. So let's pronounce it with the simple sounds to make the difference. Okay, it's a with the ta. At, it, ut. So at is a normal sound. We didn't say it like at. If we say it like at, it's going to be wrong. Why? Because we don't have to do the qalqala. We don't have to bounce the letter ta. Because if we do so, it's going to be the wrong pronunciation. Ta is not from the letters of qalqala. Okay? And what does qalqala means? It means to bounce the letter, to make it a jerking sound. Okay? Let's move forward. Now we have the letter sa. The letter sa is not from the letters of qalqala, right? So how are we going to say it? We are going to join the hamza with the sa with a normal tone. We are not going to bounce it. As, is, us. Now we have the letter jim, which is one of the letters of qalqala. So when we join the hamza with the jim, we have to bounce the letter jim from the ending, like aj, like that. Aj, ij, uj. And whenever we do so, we make it the bouncy sound. What happens is the qalqala sound is coming. Okay? When this qalqala happens, it only happens with the 5 letters, not any other letter. Just like over here we have the ha, we're going to say it with the normal sound. We are not going to bounce it. Okay? Let's say it. Ah, eh, oh. I think we all know the normal pronunciation. Let's quickly do the qalqala letters so that we can cover them at least in this class. Okay, so the next one is over here, dal, ad, id, ud. Instead of saying ad, id, ud, we have to jerk the sound. Ad, id, ud. And why do we do so? Because it is the letter of qalqala, and it is also having a sukoon above it. So the Qalqala definition says, if the letters, 5 letters are having a sukoon above them, pronounce them with a bouncing sound, right? So both the conditions are satisfied. The letter is the letter of Qalqala, and the sign is also of sukoon, right? We have 2 more. This one. Atto, eto, otto. And then we have qaf. To remember, it is the qaf with the 2 dots. It's not the one that is with the K sound or the lighter kaf. Okay? Akko, ikko, okko. Just like that. So over here, our pronunciations are completed for the Qalqala sounds. Today we have learned about the Qalqala, which means in English to pronounce with a bouncing sound. And we have 5 letters for the Qalqala only. The letter Qaf with the 2 dots above, the letter Ta heavier, the letter Jim, the letter Dal, and the letter Ba. And we have to pronounce these 5 letters only with a bouncing sound when they have sukoon above them. If there is a jim with a zabar, we are not going to say it with a jerking sound, with a bouncing sound. We have to say it with a normal ja sound. But if the jim is with a sukoon and before it is a zabar, then we can join the jim with the bouncing sound, making an aj sound. I hope it's clear. Let's quickly do one line and then we will end the lesson. Okay? So over here, this is a word having the letter with the sukoon ba. So ba is from the letters of Qalqala. So when we join the ba with the previous letter, you have to shake it. Saybarin, saybarin. Over here, the letter with the sukoon is ba again. It's a Qalqala sound again. Sobahan. Okay, over here, the letter with the sukoon is ta, and it is not from the letters of Qalqla. So make sure you join it with the normal sounds. Fitnatun, fitnatun. Next one. The letter with the sukoon is sa. We cannot shake it, but the letter of Qalqala is qaf over here. Can we say this one with the jerking sound? No, we can't. Why? Because the qaf is not having a sukoon. It is having a zabar. So we cannot shake the qaf. To shake it, it should have the sukoon above it. Let's sing it. Musqalatun. Over here, the letter G with the sukoon. It is a qalqala sound. Shake it. Ajrun. Okay, we're done with the lesson over here. I will share this exercise in the group as well so that you guys can do the practice. And if anyone finds it anything confusing, you guys can reach me out in the group, and inshallah we will discuss it in detail in our next class as well. My laptop is just about to die. So let's end the class with the dua. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.